Hi guys, hey, I thought I would do a fun video about The Bachelor. Woohoo! You guys seem to like my videos that I do about The Bachelor, Bachelorette, whole situation. I've done 2 predictions for Arie's season, and this is my reaction to the finale. Unfortunately, let me just let you know that I did hear what happened. I didn't get the spoiler alert, I just got a spoiler online because you literally can't even be on the internet if you don't want to know. So that was kind of annoying, but at the same time, watching, even though I knew what was going to happen, was just as shocking. So obviously if you didn't see the finale, don't watch this video. Why would you even click on it? I have lots of opinions pretty much about the whole season, but mostly the last 2 episodes they had. So my first reaction to the end of the first finale episode when he proposed was, what the hell? I've been watching for years, and the last episode usually where there's 2 people there and they have to pick, they usually interrupt the person who's giving their little speech about why they love them so much. But he didn't do that. He literally let Lauren sit there for 5 minutes telling him how much she loved him, and he didn't interrupt her. Why did you just let her do that? I just think that's so rude. I remember that Caitlyn let Nick do that too, and I was really frustrated about it. So that was my first thing, okay, this is annoying. Also, if you didn't already know, I don't like Arie anymore. I really liked him on Emily's season 5 years ago. Obviously 5 years changes someone because he is emotionless. I swear he has no emotions. You can see when he has chemistry with someone, but that's it. I don't think he shed a tear all season. My mom seems to think he did cry when he broke up with Lauren. I didn't see it, honestly. I don't think he shed a tear all season. He is so freaking fake, and it drives me nuts. I just think he's not a nice person, and he just wanted to be the Bachelor. You could tell when he proposed to Becca that he was not happy. You could tell, if you've ever watched any of the other proposals, you could see how happy those people are. Even when I was really upset that Rachel picked Brian, you could still see how happy they were, genuinely, and it just didn't feel good. It literally felt, I might have just read it this way because I knew it was going to happen, but to me it still felt like Becca was way more happy than him. And then knowing what happens, FYI, spoiler alert if you didn't know, obviously he breaks up with Becca and gets back with Lauren. How foreshadowing was it that her rose broke? The final rose he gave her broke. And then also when he was so when are we going to start having babies? And she was tonight. And I was whoa, hold up. Hold up. Are you really saying that to someone you're still not sure about? How could you not be sure until the morning? I know this has happened in the past. People are always oh, I didn't know until the morning. I just woke up with clarity. I think they say that every season, but I swear that they don't always mean that. I'm sure producers tell them to say that. I can't possibly imagine. I do think you can love 2 people at once, but I also think if I was on that show, I would know 100%, I feel within the first 2 weeks who I was most interested in. And there's just no way that you didn't know till that morning. And then so we get to the whole breakup part. The fact that it was on camera was really frustrating. I know a lot of people after the final rose said that, we needed that closure. We didn't. How many other couples on the show have broken up and we didn't see it unfold and we're fine? Yes, they sign up to have their lives documented, and that's what Becca said because she's so freaking classy, but that's not right. That is just so wrong. It's one thing if you've broke up during the show where it's actually filming and things like that, but to break up on camera like that was obviously his choice 100%. I know a lot of people are saying, oh no, he's under contract, he had to. No, how many other couples broke up and didn't do it on camera? He obviously got an extra bonus for that or something, and then he tried to play it off oh, I wanted it to be on camera so everyone would know it was my fault. Everyone freaking knew it was your fault, Arie. Don't even. We all knew it was your fault. No one blamed Becca. Everyone loved Becca. I'm so frustrated that she was so happy, in the beginning of that interview, when they went to LA to stay together for the weekend or whatever. She seemed so happy, and she was yeah, look at the ring, he did such a good job and stuff. And then he was literally breaking up with her. Chris Harrison, all the camera people, everything knew what was going to happen except for her, and that's just so embarrassing. And she was such a class act. Honestly, I would have been so angry. I would have been throwing cameras. I would have punched him in the face. But I just think that's so wrong. That's probably what I'm the most angry about. I get whatever, he's following his heart, great, but you did not have to embarrass her like that on camera. It did not have to be that public. You did not have to go through that. She shouldn't have had to go through that. It's hard enough to break up with your fiance. And even the way he spoke to her, honestly, his family did the same thing. So I don't really like his family. Obviously I don't know them, but each of them all brought up Lauren to Becca when she met them, and I thought that was so messed up. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've seen the family saying there is another girl here, how do you feel about that? But bringing up Lauren so much to her. Felt really wrong, inappropriate, but just because they met Lauren first, they brought her up to Becca. They didn't bring Becca up to Lauren. It just felt really uncomfortable and frustrating to me, especially Arie's dad being like, oh, are you friends? Like, do you guys get along? I'd be happy whoever he chose. He could have worded that in such a better way. Also, Arie the whole time reassuring both of them, like, A, I don't think, like, he constantly said, I'm reassuring Lauren, blah blah. You can't reassure anyone on the show until you actually pick them. And he shouldn't have even been trying to reassure her when he wasn't sure. Like, you can't reassure someone unless you're sure. You can't reassure anyone on the show, like, you just can't. He didn't have to lead them on that much. I mean, when I was trying to compare the situation to any past ones, I thought of Ben. You know, he said he loved Lauren and JoJo, but at the same time, yes, JoJo was caught off guard, but we didn't hate Ben because he seemed so genuine. He cried, he had emotion when he broke up with JoJo. He literally did feel really genuinely bad, and he did have feelings for her, and this just didn't feel that way to me. When he broke up with Becca, he had no emotion. What I thought was, like, heartbreaking was when he was like, oh, I've been, like, 50% in with you, and she's like, would you be 50% in with her then? And he was like, no. It's just so messed up the way that he did that whole breakup, with it on camera or not. Like, he was so cruel about it, and obviously he lied to her. He had talked to Lauren before he even talked to her about it, and he kept trying to defend himself and saying to her, like, I think you wanted to know either way when I talked to Lauren. Becca didn't want to know that. She literally said she thought that he was closing that door. He was getting closure. That's why he needed to talk to her, to help him move on. But instead, he was reaching out to see if she would be open to reconnecting. And that was wrong on his part. Another thing that really pissed me off was that he kept repeating himself over, I'm willing to take that risk, like, it's worth the risk to break up with you to see if Lauren wants to get back together. He already knew that entire time that she said yes, there's no way. And I said this to my mom and my sister, who all watch it together, and I think Becca M even said it in, like, the interview thing. He would never have broken up with Becca if he didn't know Lauren would get back together with him. If he thought that door was shut and Lauren was too angry and wouldn't get back together with him, he would have stayed with Becca, even though it was miserable, and I'm sure they would have divorced or not got married later down the road, because obviously they weren't right for each other. But I do think that he would have stayed with her, at least for a significantly longer time, if he thought there was no chance with Lauren. He knew 100% that she said yes. That part where he walked up to her house and was like, oh, I want to get back together with you, that was so fake. Like, 100%. There's no way that would have taken all 5 minutes, and they had already spoken before that. Like, that really frustrated me to no end, because he already knew. Like, why are they trying to make him look good? Another thing is, after the breakup, they, like, show Becca going home to Minnesota, Wisconsin, and they're, like, making her look through pictures and videos of them. Like, why? Why would they do, like, they're just trying to, like, make it more dramatic. Like, obviously they made her do that. Like, why would she do that? She wouldn't. But during the breakup part, it was unedited, which part of me felt, if you are gonna do that, it should be unedited, because that's only fair, I guess. But at the same time, it was a lot of moments of silence, which part of me, like, I think a lot of people might have been watching being like, okay, like, why are we watching them not say anything? But I do think, from my experience, that is how real breakups are. You do just stand there for 5-10 minutes at a time and say nothing, because what are you supposed to say? You can't even wrap your head around it. You're in shock. And I think that's exactly how it went. I think that breakup kind of showed that this show is real, at least for Becca it was. I mean, I think there are benefits to having it be on camera. I think that people are going to view the show a little bit differently now, but at the same time, I think that if I could have chosen if it was right or wrong to do that, I would say it was wrong. Like, I don't think they should have. From the Bachelor, from the show's standpoint, they shouldn't have done it. For Becca's sake, they shouldn't have done it. The only reason they did it was something about Arie. I wanted everyone to know it was my fault. No, he wanted to see if he could get some people to feel bad for him, to give him sympathy. No one's doing that. Arie, everyone hates you. Oh my god. I really respected Becca for the way she handled it. I also love, oh my god, I was like praising the Lord when she was like, he kept trying to come back and talk to her, and she was like, don't touch me. You think I'm giving you a hug goodbye? Like, I'm not giving you a hug. I was like, yes, Becca, oh my god, finally someone on their show did that. Like, she was still so classy, amazing, and was like, I still want you to be happy and everything, but she felt real. Like, that's exactly, like, literally, I put myself in her shoes, and I've been in breakups where I was like, Arie was doing what I've had guys do in the past, where, like, they break up with you, and then they want to comfort you. Like, what the hell are you doing? Just go away. Like, he kept trying to, like, be there, and she was like, go away, like don't touch me. And I literally said that exact thing. Like in a breakup I'd be like, don't touch me, like you just broke up with me, why would I want a hug from you? And I loved it. I literally thought that was amazing of her. Also, what the hell, Arie? She said to leave like 500 times and he didn't. I think we all are aware how annoying that was. But like the first couple times, I get, okay, he left, he came back, he maybe wanted to say something, but after that, when they're sitting on the couch, then after she already gave the ring back, yes, girl. And she was like, leave, please leave. Like, she also said it 6 times, and he was like, okay. And he just sat there for like another 5 minutes. Why? It's not like he was regretting his decision, wanted her to beg him not to do that, and she didn't. She was too much of a class act, and she has too much self-awareness and self-confidence in herself to do that. He's 36, like what is wrong with him? And like the fact that he was, oh, I guess like my family liked Becca better, and like she just seemed more safe for me because Lauren was so hesitant, which also made me think like there's no way Lauren could take him back. All season she was so like, I'm afraid to be hurt, I've been hurt, I'm afraid to be hurt, I don't want to like express myself because I'm going to be hurt, I'm so afraid to be hurt, like over and over and over. And now he just hurt her and she's like, okay, I trust you, woohoo. Obviously he was reaching out to her like long before any of this, but the fact that she went back like that, like it just was so the truth in some aspects, because who wouldn't do that? You're in love with this person, they come back. But at the same time, I think it showed a bad, like I don't want to say Lauren's like a bad example, like I'm sure she's a nice person and everything, but like it did kind of show women like low self-confidence. I think that she doesn't realize how much better she can do, and I think that as much as I hope that they're happy together, I don't think it's gonna last. Like I just don't see how. It just seemed very bizarre to me. I don't see how anyone would want to be with Arie after this happening, and we all know he did not take that risk. He was not gonna take a risk. There was no risk in anything he did. The only risk really was his reputation, and you could tell when he broke up with Becca, that's what he was more worried about, how he looked to the public. The fact that he left the camera set up and getting like the right positioning and everything beforehand, like you knew that all he was worried about was his reputation. And even when he talked to Becca on the couch and she was asking him questions, all like you could see the look on his face straight up 100% was, I'm fearful for me, I'm fearful you're gonna ask me a question I can't answer, I'm fearful for my own reputation, how America views me. He was in 0% worried about Becca, apologetic for how she feels, for what he put her through. He didn't genuinely feel bad, and I think if you watch back, you could see the look on his face that was just so, I am so scared for me. And then he tried to put it on her too. At that moment he was trying to blame her, him not telling her the truth. It was just, it blew out my absolute mind and made me very, very frustrated. I didn't watch Juan Pablo's season. For a reason, I didn't like Juan Pablo during Desiree's season, so I didn't watch his season. But from what I've heard, he was terrible. But I think he was terrible in a more obvious way. Like, he wasn't trying to hide the fact he was, I mean, maybe he was, but he was really bad at it. Like, everyone knew he was terrible. Everyone knew he was, like, not a nice guy. And he was honest about it. He didn't propose. And I think that's why people were kind of less angry at him almost, because he owned the fact that he's kind of a jackass, but Arie's still trying to play the card of, I'm a good guy, I'm a nice guy, like, I did all of this for love. Like, you did all of this for you. I genuinely, like, don't understand. I don't think Lauren's being honest with herself. I think she is going to come to the realization that she doesn't trust him, because how could you? With how many trust issues she had all season. I don't know. Usually, I think during the final rose, after the final rose, like, interviews, the third girl, like Kendall, would have talked to Arie face to face, but they didn't do that, and I specifically think that's because she didn't give a crap anymore. Like, I don't think she had any feelings for Arie after knowing what he did. I think she was angry. I think they all were, all the girls I showed on the couch, I think they were so glad to not be with him. They all agreed he was manipulative, and as much as they had feelings for him at the time, I think they're all super glad. Like, Kendall was probably like so relieved she was not involved in all this drama and situation. I hope they all end up on Paradise and find someone they really like. I think that Lauren, I think a lot of people are probably going to give her some hate for taking him back, and I'm not giving her hate. I do think she'll come to her own realization in time, but I don't think she's to blame. Like, I don't blame her for taking him back. Like I said, the only thing she really did wrong was in the interview she said, I think Arie was as respectful as he could be, and that's not true. I think that she obviously wants to show support publicly for him because they're in a relationship, but there's no way she thinks that what he did was respectful by airing the breakup. And the fact that they didn't watch it together, they were with each other the night it aired and they didn't watch it, he obviously was trying to hide it from her, because if she saw the way that he broke up with Becca, I can't imagine that she would be okay with that. And maybe she wouldn't break up with him for it, but she would at least, it would be a pretty big fight, and he probably didn't want her to be in that mood before they're about to go on air. So I'm sure that she's gonna watch it at some point, like she has to, or at least her friends watched it and told her, because if she saw that, I can't imagine she would be okay with the way that he handled that. Even during the interviews with Lauren and Becca, he did not shed a tear. And what really drove me crazy is during the breakup with Becca, he kept wiping his eyes and sniffling, like, what are you wiping away? Your soul? Because you don't have any tears. There are no tears there. You never cried a tear. You are a robot. I just cannot even believe that. I think that this season really showed what The Bachelor is lacking in production, because all they want is a proposal, and I think that it's been proven time and time again that a proposal doesn't mean anything on this show. More couples have broken up after getting proposed to and getting engaged than couples who have lasted, and I think that there is this huge pressure to last because all of America is watching, and it's this pressure to pick the person America likes the best, and it's this pressure from the producers, you know, and get engaged, to just propose. And I think that, yes, ultimately it is that person's choice, and I'm not giving Arie any kind of break or excuses, but I think that the show needs to stop relying on proposal equals happy ever after, because that's not true. I think that they 100% should have picked Peter as a Bachelor this season. He would not have made all these horrible mistakes that Arie made. He would have cried. He had actual emotions because he's a human. I think that Peter also, who cares if he didn't want to get, they didn't pick him because he wasn't sure he could propose after, what is it, 8 weeks? Like, yeah, no kidding. And honestly, even Arie wasn't ready to propose after that time, right? Yes, they picked Arie because he was like 100% I'm gonna propose. Well, that obviously wasn't a good move, right? And even all the girls on his season, from Bibiana to Kendall, everything, like, it's not that they weren't ready for marriage or for a proposal or for commitment. It's that they weren't ready because it was the wrong person. Like, you can't expect all 4 of your final 4 people to be ready because they're not all right for you. Oh my god, like, that drives me absolutely nuts. I think that the way that, Taylor and Derek from Paradise, they didn't get engaged at Paradise. They waited to see what life would be like after the show, and then they got engaged, and I think that is definitely a better move, and I think that that was really smart of them. I think more couples should do that. But along with that, the proposal, Arie proposing to Lauren like that in the studio, I always think that's tacky. She obviously knew it was coming. This was not a surprise in the slightest. Like, she knew he was going to propose to her during this, which I think was wrong, because obviously America isn't rooting for you. Like, maybe a little bit, like, I'm hoping that they last and they're happy, but America isn't rooting for them as much as they're rooting for Becca. And it was weird to me to see them get engaged right there. I think they were engaged before that. They just wanted, like, some kind of, like, people to look at them and be sappy and happy. I think that it's really bizarre when people get engaged. I don't, like, you could have been engaged in front of all those llamas in Peru, but instead you're getting engaged in a freaking studio in Hollywood. Like what? He still didn't shed a tear. And I don't know, I felt like it was forced and annoying, and that they should have been more private. I'm just against kind of public engagements. I would never want to get engaged in public, so maybe that's just like a personal thing. So that's that. Becca being the Bachelorette, I'm quite happy. Honestly, I'm just so relieved it's not Tia. Like, sorry if you love Tia. I don't like her. I think she was dull. I think she was boring. I think that usually, even when I love the person who's going to be the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, I end up not liking them once they become the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. Tia was going to be the Bachelorette. I probably wouldn't have watched because I already don't like her. I don't think she's cruel or anything, but I didn't like the way she threw Becca and under the bus. I didn't like just her attitude the whole time. I don't know, she came across in a weird way to me. I think she's going to be on Paradise. Hopefully my opinions of her change. I do think Becca is funny, and I think she has a great personality. I hope we get to see that on her season. It's not just all about the guys. I think that they owed her this. If she wanted to be Bachelor, obviously she did. They owed it to her to let her do whatever the hell she wants because what they put her through. I do think that it is pretty fresh for her breakup with Arie, but I think she's a mature woman. She's very strong, and I think that I don't want to say she's over being hurt, but I do think she's over Arie, because she's probably just glad she's not with him now because he's so manipulative, and like she's glad it happened sooner rather than later. I think she's aware like that. I also think the 5 guys they introduced her to were awesome. I liked the first 2 the best. The guy with the accent was awesome. I think that she seemed really genuinely excited and happy, and I love how confident and fun she is. So I'm really excited to see her at The Bachelor. I did think there would be some more interesting choices to choose from this season, but obviously because America sympathizes with her and watched her go through that breakup, we're all supporting her and want to see her thrive and be happy. So I think that obviously that's why the show chose her. I do think she reminds me of Desiree a little bit. I didn't like Desiree. I do like Becca, but the way they look is very similar. Not that that really matters, but just the thought. But yeah, so that's pretty much my overall opinions. I don't know what else I have to say, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with Becca as the choice for The Bachelor. I can't wait. Pretty sure it's starting May 26th. I might be wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But I'm really excited about that, and I hope she's genuinely happy. I do hope that Arie and Lauren make it work. Kind of like what she said, I hope that he'll come back, but I wasn't expecting him to. That's kind of where I'm at with them. I still want Chris Harrison to be The Bachelor eventually. Like, I would love it. I just think that like after all these years, I'd love to see his way of doing it, because he is single. I think we need to have some more people who are from different countries, not from different countries, but have different backgrounds. I just think it's like annoying, like what is going on? We also need some people who have a little bit different shape. Hello, body image, like let's have some diversity. It annoys me. So that's kind of where I'm at. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want me to keep doing it every season, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button or leaving a comment. Let me know your final opinions. Happy end of The Bachelor season, and thank God we don't have to see Arie anymore and his creepy laugh and no tears and emotionless personality. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.